difference between wireless and wireless cameras is essentially what it means. Wireless means no cables, nothing like that going to the camera itself. These are usually ran off of some type of rechargeable battery or a battery pack, or they can also be ran off what's called a 12 volt or 5 volt power supply system. These usually require an outlet close by to keep the battery charged. Wired cameras basically are exactly that. They have some type of cabling, whether it be coax, Cat6, Cat5e going to them. Coax usually requires some type of 12 volt power supply going to the camera for power, to where Cat5e or Cat6 cabling can actually provide the power and the video feed back to the NVR or DVR. The benefits to wireless cameras is the fact that they can be placed anywhere, especially where cables can't go. Not only that, you don't have the additional cost of the cabling for the cameras. So the benefits to wired cameras are, one, they constantly have a constant power source going to them back to the NVR, which means they keep a stream going at all times. They're not hackable cameras, not unless you give away your admin password. Most people do not give that away. They have a much better picture quality than a wireless camera do, because there's no radio signal for it to transmit that picture across. Again, they do not require Wi-Fi. It's always a constant connection across the Cat6 or coax cable. For the most part, they're cross-compatible between manufacturers and models. Like, I can get a Hikvision to work with a DAWBACK, or I can get a DAWBACK to work with a Hikvision. A lot of times it just depends on what level of compression they're using. There are drawbacks to some of the wired camera systems. One, cabling is not always accessible to go anywhere you want a camera. There are some locations that we just can't get a camera through. None of the cameras are mobile. Once they're set into place, that's where they need to stay, so don't move them. There is a required additional equipment, such as NVRs, DVRs. You might need a PoE switch somewhere that we can't get a cable across the wall or something along that nature. This also increases an additional cost for the cabling as well, because each camera has to have its own separate Cat6 connection back to the NVR or back to the PoE switch that's in hand. The drawbacks to wireless cameras is pretty much you have to change the batteries all the time. You also have to have a Wi-Fi connection, in which this eats up bandwidth on that Wi-Fi connection that you probably already have a lot of data streaming across anyway. Also, wireless cameras are also vulnerable to hacking. They're pretty much being transmitted across the radio signal, and somebody with a simple laptop could figure out a way to be able to get in that camera and make any changes if they want to. Equipment needed for installation on a wired camera system would be cabling of Cat6 or better to every single camera, a good internet connection with a high bandwidth of at least 100 megabits download per second. This is for use for ability being able to see outside the business for a remote connection. And of course you would have the cameras and the NVR. NVR stands for Network Video Recorder. Your older systems have what's called a DVR, a digital video recorder. That's usually done across coax. NVRs are pretty much network cabling, just like your data in the rest of the office. It pretty much runs on the same type of connection. A company really should consider a really good quality wired IP-based camera system with a good resolution decoder. 4K out there, which is pretty much 4,000 pixels, is currently the best type of resolution that you can get right now.